Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me, please. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear and see. And this is, I decided to go live just because I wanted to hang out with you guys for a bit and also reveal the most obvious code within this new movie that we've been talking about for the last. Every decoder on the earth has been talking about this movie for the last 3 or 4 days, to the point where I think it's a bit too obvious. It's almost like they wanted us to decode this film and make a lot of these people probably look a bit crazy. But there's so many nuggets in this movie that I just can't keep. I just gotta keep putting it out, because what I'm about ready to show you here is so obvious. And it's so obvious that they code these movies and that they actually think about what they do when they put in these movies. Okay, that people cannot question what I'm about ready to show you at all. There should be no denying this. And there's been lots of good decoders that have showed stuff like this. But again, I just want to come on here and present a very simple, easy to understand decode. And just once again prove that these people know what they're doing when they make these movies. It's not just randomly throwing stuff together. And, some of it probably is, but most of it is not. So let's see who's in the chat. Got 24 in the chat. Thanks, guys, for stopping by tonight. Thanks, Rick. I see Yuan Francis is in the chat. I'm not in Albania anymore. I'm in Germany again. I'm back in Germany. It's in the rainy Germany, guys. It's been raining, not stopping. So, welcome to the chat, Captain Flatastic and Rick James. And hey, Kevin, how you doing, bro? Nice to see you as well. And yeah, I'm just gonna hang out with you guys for a bit, but we'll give a few more minutes, and then I'll do the decode, and then we'll just hang out for a bit. All right, Rick, have a good day doing whatever you're doing. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. Hello, Blue Skies Mom. Welcome. Hello, Elena. Welcome also. God bless you. Welcome, Truth Matters. Truth does matter. That's definitely true. So with 28 in the chat, yeah, what I'm about ready to show you is just, it's not even hard to understand. So hopefully, if you guys would share this video on like Twitter or whatever you guys can share on, it would be very helpful, because this is one of the things that thousands of people should see this. Hundreds of thousands should see this. Hello, LAC, and hello, Slow Burn. So, first of all, to understand what I'm about ready to talk about, we have to know what the white lion is. So the white lion is what I have up on the screen for you guys. In case you guys, I didn't even know about this until I watched the movie and I found this out. Thank you to one of the subscribers for pointing this out to me, right? And I just took it and ran with it. So let's just take a look at this. So the White Lion was an English privateer operating under a Dutch letter of marque, which brought the first Africans to English colony of Virginia in the year 1619. Okay. This was a year before the arrival of the Mayflower. Okay, so most people are familiar with the Mayflower, but this ship, the White Lion, was the first to bring Africans to the United States or North America. Though the African captives on the ship were not indentured, were sold as indentured servants, the event is regarded as the start of African slavery, keyword there, slavery, in the colonial history of the United States. So this event is regarded as the start of African slavery in colonial history, okay? And this involves a ship called the White Lion. And this ship called the White Lion lands in the year 1619. So these are your two key terms, guys. The White Lion, it lands in the year 1619. And it lands, let me see if I can find it here. The location of where it lands is called Port Comfort. So let me see if I can find it. Here it goes. About the latter end of August, a Dutch man of war of the burden of 160, that's an important number to remember here also. I'll get to that in a minute. Arrived at Point Comfort. Okay? Point Comfort. So your three key terms here are the White Lion, the year 1619, and the location is Point Comfort. Okay? So let me break down this simple decode to show you how clearly they put in this movie, in case you guys are unfamiliar with the movie, which I'm sure you're not. It's called Leave the World Behind. It was produced by Barack Obama, the first African-American president, okay? So let's jump into it. This is a short but sweet decode, and it's all you need, it's very simple. All right, so Leave the World Behind, slavery ritual decoded. Okay? Hold on, guys. Sorry, I accidentally clicked it. So this is my Twitter thread. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, I'm also Decoding with Cody on Twitter. So this is my Twitter thread, and I'm using this to present. From now on, I think I'm going to start using this. So anyways, the movie was produced by Barack Obama, the first African-American president, right? So that's the first clue. It was produced by the first African-American president. Okay, the White Lion, as I just showed you, was the first ship that landed in Point Comfort, Virginia in the year 1619. So let's go through this. The first image I have for you guys is the image at the very beginning of this movie, exit 76, Point Comfort. Do you guys see this? Okay, so the first ship that brought slaves to North America landed in Point Comfort. And in this movie, the very first thing that you see as they're going on vacation to their rental house is they take exit 76 towards Point Comfort. Okay, so the ship, the White Lion, lands at Point Comfort, and in this movie, Point Comfort is where they're going. Okay, the next image is also from this movie, and this is the first ominous event that happens after the blackout. Notice that it's a ship called the White Lion. So these people are in Point Comfort, and the ship called the White Lion comes ashore, and this is exactly the scenario I just spelled out to you in the first African-American ship to come to the United States that brought the first slaves. The White Lion, it lands in Point Comfort, right? And this is the exact same things. White Lion, here's the ship that washes on shore in the movie. And here is the, as I just showed you, Point Comfort right here. Right? So how could that be a coincidence? All right. How can that be a coincidence that they have Point Comfort and the White Lion, which is the very exact thing that happened to bring the first African slaves here? And remember, it's Barack Obama, the first African president, who made this movie, essentially. Okay. So obviously coded. And then the final thing is, later on in the movie, they had to get the year that the White Lion landed in the United States, 1619. I was wondering about this number before I even knew about the White Lion. And then when someone pointed it out, it made complete sense. Why did they put the 1619 on the radio station? Well, that's because not only is this Barack Obama's birth year, if you mix the numbers up, it's 1961. Well, Barack Obama was born in 1961. Okay. But beyond that, this is the year the white lion landed in the United States with the slaves, 1619. Okay. So you have three pictures that prove the Point Comfort, the white lion, and the year 1619. And this is exactly, as I showed in this picture here, this is exactly the scenario. In late August 1619 at Point Comfort, the ship White Lion makes land with the first Africans, which were traded in exchange for supplies. And for all of those in the chat who are saying I would never pay for this, you're right. I did not pay to watch this movie. I bootleg. I might get in trouble for saying this, but I did a bootleg, guys. I mean, I don't pay for this stuff. I don't have Netflix, but it's very easy to bootleg this stuff if you know what you're doing. There's a couple sites. I'm not going to say them on live stream, but let me just say I bootlegged it. Okay, it was a bootleg. Didn't have to pay for the movie. They didn't receive any of my money to get their predicted programming across. So, but you guys can look into that if you guys want to watch these movies without paying. If that's your issue, then it's definitely possible. So, anyways, that's not even so. What I just showed you about how they put all of these pictures, they put all these things in there in paying tribute to the White Lion ship. Okay. Now let's look at the Gematria, because you guys know this is a Gematria channel. But once again, let's prove to the world that Gematria is very important, because I see a lot of videos on Twitter talking about this movie that are just surface level. They don't go into the deepness of the numbers. And here on this channel, you guys know that we go deep. We go into the actual real deep coding instead of just the surface level thing, you know? So let's go into the numbers as to how perfect this movie is coded, all right? So first of all, I told you guys that the first ship to ever land in the United States is the White Lion, and it lands in Point Comfort. Now, in order to get to Point Comfort in the movie, they have to take exit 76. And if you guys know anything about Gematria, as soon as you see the 76, as Zach Hubbard has said many times on his channel, shout out to him for exposing this number and its connection to slavery. But 76 is the most obvious number they would need to use for a ritual tied to slavery and Barack Obama. Why? Well, in order to get to Point Comfort in the movie, they have to take exit 76. And in order to get there, 76 is where the slaves first came. Point Comfort on the White Lion. In Gematria, the word slave equals 76. Do you see the joke, guys? They need to take the exit that equals slave to get to Point Comfort. Not only that, guys, Negro equals 76. Okay. Rasta, which is a African American thing, that equals 76. The blues, like blues, equals 76. That's also an African American thing. And Barack Obama, the first African American president. So the 76 is coded perfectly into this scene. Okay. And shout out to Joseph Aquaviva 2222. He's already talked about the 76 many times. There was a cup in this movie that's coded with the 76 because Barack Obama and slave equals 76. So again, here's your Point Comfort, exit 76, slave, Negro, Barack Obama, all 76. The perfect number to be on the road sign. Absolutely perfect number. So again, I already showed you all the pictures, but here's the White Lion again, the ship that comes ashore. And then here is the year that the White Lion comes ashore, which is 1619, which is also Barack Obama's birth year. If you mix the numbers up, 1961 is Barack Obama's birth year. Okay. So that's the reason that Barack Obama was born in 1961. It's in tribute to the first slaves in America, which came in 1619, which is an anagram of his birth year. So again, this explains a lot. It also explains a lot as to why my birthday, so let me show you this, guys. My birthday, which is June 19th, just became a holiday, okay? my birthday just a few years ago became a holiday. And June 19th is written 619, kind of like the year 1619. Okay. And this year is the year the first slaves came on the ship White Lion. And this is also Barack Obama's birth year if you do the anagram. And the current celebration of freeing slaves is on my birthday, 619. Do you guys see this? June 19th, which is 619. It's the same numbers as in the year 1619, tying back to the White Lion, which came in the year 1619. So again, this number is very tied to the slaves, right? The 1619 or the 619. Just something to remember as we go forward if we see these numbers, to remember that this is an important number tied to the slave rituals, right? So, again, guys, that is it. That is literally this part of my decode. I have something else to share with you, but again, guys, if you guys could share this, like, I mean, what are the chances that they put all three of these in the movie, Point Comfort, White Lion, and the year, and it's all tied perfectly to the ship, right? And it's all about, and the whole movie is about African American versus Caucasian, right? I mean, that's the movie features a African American couple and a Caucasian couple. So both sharing the home. Do you get it? They're both sharing the country. It's about a race thing, So this movie had heavily symbolizes the race war, which ties to Barack Obama, obviously, and which ties to so many other things. But yeah. So before I get to the next part of this decode, I'm just going to go to the chat for a second, see what you guys are talking about, see if you guys have anything. If you guys are just showing up to the chat, please go back and watch this obvious decode about the ritual here. Yeah, thank you, Gematria 8. Yeah, I really wanted to put this out just because it was so clear, right? It's so clear, and the cyber attacks were just the base level thing that they predicted in this movie. There's so much other stuff that's, this movie is triple coded, quadruple coded in so many different ways. You're right, Erical. You're right. We don't need to feed them. Don't feed these people. A lot of people are giving them their energy, and this movie really doesn't deserve so much more energy. I don't know how many more decodes I'm going to do of this, but at the same time, I think it's a bit obvious. This is one thing I want to warn you guys about. I think it's a bit obvious, this movie. It's so obvious that I don't expect the things in this movie to play out exactly as in real life because it's too obvious. Expect them to throw a curveball into the next major events. It may be somewhat similar, but it will not be exactly the same because I think this movie is kind of a bait to get the decoders that are, because people are starting to wake up and more people are doing decodes and seeing the symbolism. And this is kind of a bait and switch, trying to get people, the decoders especially, to really go after this movie. And the biggest thing that these decoders are going to go after with this movie is the blackouts. So that makes me think that the blackout is not going to happen the way we're expecting it to happen. There's going to be a curveball thrown. And so we can't get too caught up on the details of how these things are going to play out. We're just here to expose the rituals and try to prepare for what might be coming, right? So that's just my 2 cents. That's what my intuition tells me about this. So, it looks like we got a lot of new people coming in. Brenda. Yeah, I don't know how many days this movie took to make. I just know it came out before Matthew Perry died, and it was made before Matthew Perry died, and Matthew Perry was coded all in this movie. Welcome to the chat, Morgan, my friend. How are you? And welcome, El Paculi. How are you doing? Nice to see you. God bless you. Yeah, I mean, I'm just expecting something different than what we're expecting, guys. I'm expecting a blackout still, but I don't think it's going to be exactly the way. I mean, maybe it will be. Maybe it's too obvious. Maybe people are so asleep, but too many people are waking up. I think there's a bit of bait here. This is a kind of like putting bait on a hook and trying to get the fish, right? Yeah, I think you're right, Captain Flatastic. A purposeful distraction, just like most of their stuff. These movies, especially. So, you guys know, yeah, you're right, Morgan. It was a fear porn. So, first of all, on this channel, none of us are in fear, right? We're all prepared. We're not fearing what's coming. We're prepared for what's coming, no matter what it is, whether it's a virus, whether it's a blackout, whether it's a flood, a natural disaster. We are prepared. There is no fear in love, as the Bible says. So, let's just keep that in mind as we go through this crazy, crazy time. There is no fear in love. There can't be any fear in love because pure love cannot have an ounce of fear in it. It's only when we let love we kind of forget about love that we let that fear creep in. Yeah. And Jesus is love, right? He's a representation of that. So just remember that. So on to the next part of the decode. This is also going to be a very short decode. Um, but let's take a look at the Artemis connection, okay? Because remember, guys, the very front of this movie had a big deer on it, and in fact, the deer were all over. Were all over this movie, okay? And the first thing you need to know is that Artemis, the Greek god of the hunt, the wilderness, wild animals, nature, vegetation, childbirth, care of children, and chastity. Okay, so Artemis is coded into this with Kamala Harris. So let me explain how this is kind of perfectly coded, right? So Artemis, her first symbol is the deer, and we know that the deer was coded all over this movie, okay? And so the deer standing on the front of the cover is a symbol of Artemis. And Artemis is the huntress, the twin sister of Apollo, and Apollo is Apollyon, which is mentioned in Revelation. Okay, so I already did a video earlier this year on Apollyon and how it was connected to the coronavirus, and this is his twin sister. So this makes me think that the next big event is something to do with the hunt and the huntress, right? Hunting, and this sounds like war to me. So to me, this symbolizes more of a war narrative rather than just a. But I'm sure there's other things coming down the pike. But anyway, Artemis. Okay, the symbol is the deer, and the deer is on the front of the cover. Okay, so let me bring up this thread. Now, guys, you're going to remember this thread. I already showed you this in the last decode. But again, here is Artemis and the deer, right? Right on the front. Artemis' symbol, the deer. Now, why this movie was about a blackout, right? So the deer on the front and the movie is about a blackout. So let's go over the Gematria and let's look at this. Let me just take away some of this stuff here for you. I want you guys to notice that Artemis and blackout equals 85 and 50, okay? This is a big number. Hold on a second. Let me just pull up these two numbers because I want you guys to see that this is coded with Artemis and with Kamala Harris, okay? So Artemis, the symbol of the deer, is on the front of a movie about a blackout. And notice that Artemis equals blackout, okay? And in this movie, you have two stars or you have the main star, the main black guy, the main African American guy. He's from Oakland, California. Okay. And the reason this is important is because one of the subscribers, I want to give a big shout out to him. I can't remember his name now, but he pointed out that earlier this year, on February 19th in Oakland, there was a power outage at the due to loss of power. The Oakland Fire is currently responding to a fire in a PG&E substation near 50th and Coliseum. Approximately 50K customers in the city of Oakland may be impacted by this outage. So, do you notice they coded two 50s in here? First of all, it's substation near 50th and Coliseum, and it was 50K customers in Oakland that were without power. Now, remember, this guy who stars in this movie about a power outage is from Oakland, and he's nearly 50 years old. As a matter of fact, he will turn 50 years old on February 16th. Now, Kamala Harris is from Oakland. The movie came out on Kamala Harris's 50th day of her age. It came out on 192 date numerology if you use multiplication. 1 times 2 times 8 times 2 times 2 times 3 equals 192. The power outage in Kamala Harris's hometown, Oakland, was on February 19th. February 19th is 192. The name of this movie, Leave the World Behind, equals 192, like deer, like Obama. Do you see how perfect this is? Earlier this year in Kamala Harris's hometown, there was a power outage on 192, and it was at 50th, and 50K people were without power. And this movie about a power outage comes out on Kamala Harris's 50th day of her age. Why is this important? Because the power outage this year on 192 was on the 50th day of the year. The movie comes out on Kamala Harris's 50th day of her age. The power outage in her hometown is on the 50th day of the year, and 50K people lose power. And the guy that's in the movie about the power outage is in the 50th year of his life. Okay? And I already told you that Artemis is the deer on the front. And what does Artemis and blackout equal? It equals 50 and 50. So this number with the 50 is coded perfectly with Oakland, Kamala Harris's hometown, and the blackout earlier this year connected to this movie, which is also 192. This is the date that the 50,000 were without power, February 19th. Okay. Absolutely insane. So Kamala Harris is coded into this movie. And again, you guys know I've been talking a lot about her, but she is coded into it. And the 192 is going to be a very important number next year. I've already told you guys that a million times already, but the 192 is important, very important. Eclipse equals 192. Obama 192. Leave the World Behind 192. Notice that the day the movie came out had 192 date numerology. 1 times 2 times 8 times 2 times 2 times 3 equals 192. Barack Obama is the one who produced the film. Obama equals 192. This year on his birthday, it had 192 date numerology. 8 times 4 times 2 times 3, 192. Okay? The year that Barack Obama was born, 1961, on his birthday, it also had 192 date numerology. So Barack Obama was born on 192 date numerology. If you multiply, his birthday this year was on 192 date numerology. The movie he produced was on 192 date numerology. and Obama equals 192. Right here. And the movie he made equals 192. So again, how many more times do I have to talk about the 192 to help you guys understand that this is obviously the number that they're coding? I mean, I don't see how you can deny that at this point. But anyway, back to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, all tied to Artemis. Remember, at the end of the movie, it's all about the assassination, as I showed you guys in my last video. I told you guys that Commodus, the bunker that the girl goes into at the end of the movie to watch the Friends episode, is named Commodus. And Commodus is a Roman emperor who was assassinated in 192. I mean, how much more 192s do you need? Yes, Belzy, thank you for pointing that out. The little girl who's in the bunker at the end of the movie, let me bring her up. The little girl that goes into the bunker, that's named Commodus, which ties to the 192. Her birthday is 129. Do you guys see the ritual here? It's the same combination of numbers. And it's one day after Matthew Perry died and one day after Julia Roberts' birthday, which is October 28th. So this girl is also coded perfectly, her birthday. But, I mean, we already know. And this girl, I'm going to look more into her, but I believe she represents Kamala Harris. Her name is Myhala, which similar to Kamala. And she was born on April 6th, which is 2 days before the eclipse next year. But what's interesting about this girl is she is from Jamaican. Okay, so her father is Jamaican. Okay, so this girl who stars in the movie, her father is Jamaican. Now, who does that remind you of? Well, that reminds you of Kamala Harris, whose her father, Donald J. Harris, is also Jamaican. Okay, so the girl in the movie, Myhala, her father is Jamaican, and Kamala's father is Jamaican. Okay, and the girl's name in the movie is Myhala, which, I mean, you can, that's pretty close to, I mean, it's not Kamala, but it sounds a lot like Kamala. It's similar. So, yeah. And notice that the only movie she's really been in is Leave the World Behind and a movie called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I don't even know what that's about, but doesn't sound good. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. But yeah, this girl's not very famous. She was also in Black Mirror. How about that, guys? Of course she was. She played a character called Harper Stern in one of the shows as well. So anyways, enough about her, but Kamala Harris, her dad is Jamaican, and the girl in the movie, her dad is also Jamaican, okay? So I'm going to go to the chat. Looks like we have 97 in the chat. Wow, I want to give a big shout out to all 97 of you. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. I didn't even put this stream out very early, so I'm very happy to have you all. Hey, Joseph, welcome, brother. I guess you just got here. Yeah, so you missed my thing, Joseph. So if you guys don't know Joseph, most of you guys in the chat probably already subscribed to his channel, Joseph Aquaviva 2222. Me and him have been destroying this movie when it comes to the decodes. I want to give a big shout out to him. But yeah, bro, if you didn't see my, you can watch from the beginning if you want, but I was talking about the white lion. So if you guys are late to the stream, in the movie, there's 3 things coded in. There's the ship, the White Lion, and there's the year 1619, and there's the location of Point Comfort. So all of these things are coded into the movie. because I already closed my window, unfortunately, so I can't show you. Actually, let me just go to my email here, and I'll open it up one last time for anybody new to the stream. Because I had to do this on Twitter and make the post. So hold on a second. Yeah, Joseph. The 1619 is the year that the White Lion slave ship landed in the United States. And that's Barack Obama's year if you do that as an anagram. And, Barack Obama born in 1961. If you switch up the letters of 1619, you get 1961. All right, so here it is, Joseph, for you and all the new people in the chat. So here's the picture I screenshotted of the White Lion slave ship. So on August 1619, 20 or 30 enslaved Africans landed at Point Comfort on the ship the White Lion. Okay. All three of these are encoded in the movie. The radio station in the car is at 1619. The exit they take to get to the house is Point Comfort. And the ship that crashes ashore while they're on the beach is the White Lion. All three of these things perfectly coded into the movie. And here's the pictures to prove it. Here's Point Comfort. The exit. Now, here's the big one, Joseph. You'll love this one. This is about the 76. Why did they use the 76 here? Well, first of all, Barack Obama equals 76, and he's the one who made the movie, right? And Point Comfort was where the first slaves landed in America on a ship called the White Lion. Now, Point Comfort, let me scroll down here. So Point Comfort is exit 76. And Point Comfort is where the first slaves came. Well, slave equals 76, Negro 76, and Barack Obama 76. And there's the 76 on the coffee mug that Joseph already pointed out. So this is one of those things where we should share for everyone to see. Even the most unawake person should see that they obviously coded these three things into the movie. What are the chances that the White Lion, the Point Comfort, and the year is all coded into this movie perfectly? And it's made by the African American president, who is very tied to Scottish, not the Prince Hall Freemasonry. Barack Obama is born perfectly in line with Prince Hall Freemasonry. That's the African American Freemasonry, for any of you who do not know. I may do a video about this in the future. He was born on the perfect day to be the first African American president because he was born perfectly in line with the African American Freemasonry. Okay. But anyways, guys, all about the 76. As Joseph is writing in the chat now, he's saying that Obama's book, A Promised Land, also equals 76. So again, it was all about the reason that Obama became president in the first place is because the slavery was all tied to him. I mean, it's all tied to him and slavery, So again, undeniable, absolutely unquestionable in my opinion, So yeah, thanks Joseph for also coming in with the golden nuggets. But that was my main thing. And then I also just talked about Kamala Harris and how there was a power outage in Oakland on 192. So get that, Joseph. There was a power outage in Oakland, where Kamala Harris is from, and also where the star of this movie was from, on 192 this year, February 19th. And it was of 50K people were without power, and it was on 50th and Coliseum. And the movie is tied to Artemis, who is the deer, who is the goddess of the hunt. And she has the deer as her symbol, which is on the front of the movie. And Artemis equals 50. And the movie is about a blackout, which equals 50. And again, Kamala Harris's hometown had a power outage on the 50th day of the year, 192, which the movie equals 192. And it was 50,000 people were without power. And the movie came out on Kamala Harris's 50th day of her age. Okay. Too many 50s to be a coincidence. Perfectly coded. Also, Joseph, did you notice the 192? If you do multiplication date numerology, 1 times 2 times 8 times 2 times 2 times 3, the date numerology of the day the movie came out is 192, kind of like the movie equals 192 and Obama equals 192. And Barack Obama was born on 192 date numerology as well, if you do multiplication. And his birthday this year was on 192. So anyways, I'm just going over what I already talked about, but yeah, 50 is also satanic, right? In the same cipher as Artemis and Blackout. So yeah, Kamala Harris, 50th day of her age. There was a power outage in her hometown on the 50th day of the year, this year, which ties to the movie perfectly. So yeah, let me go to the chat. Matthew Perry died on Julia Roberts' birthday. Yes, he did. He died on her birthday, and she dated him, and then she stars in this movie where her daughter is obsessed with watching his show that he stars in. You know, it's perfect. Let me talk a bit about these cyber attacks. I think it's a bait. I don't think it's going to turn out to be anything big, guys. Don't worry. I mean, it might. Who knows? But so a few days after this movie, it was released on the New York Times. Well, actually, it's saying today Ukraine was hit by a cyber attack. But anyways, it was said that yesterday, or I think it was yesterday, that there was a cyber attack on the infrastructure in the United States by China. Of course, it's always either China or Russia. I can't even find the article anymore, but I posted it in my community section if you guys want to go look at it. So, I mean, anyways, here it is, guys. Here's the article. This was posted 1 day ago. And this was posted, right after this movie came out about a cyber attack. China's cyber army is invading critical U.S. services. China's cyber army. What a joke. What the heck is a cyber army? A ghost army. Anyways, I mean, again, guys, I don't expect this to turn into anything, at least right now, but I mean, just be prepared, have some extra water and stuff on hand. It's saying that they're disrupting water and power, so, and this just comes days after this Obama movie with the power outage. So, also, I saw a video on Twitter that people were saying there was deer in New York on by the Statue of Liberty. I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, but there was literally a video of these deer, and it was definitely a AI video, but they were trying to push the fact that there was deer near the Statue of Liberty. And of course, the movie starts out with a view of New York and Statue of Liberty. And the Statue of Liberty was dedicated on 10/28, the day Matthew Perry died, and the day of Julia Roberts' birthday, and she stars in the movie. And there's literally people on Twitter trying to push that there's a CGI deer at the Statue of Liberty. And it goes perfectly with this movie. And you see, they're trying to bait us, guys, into looking stupid. They're trying to bait us into looking stupid. And we're not stupid, are we? So let's not look stupid. Like, they're trying to make conspiracy theorists, or what they call conspiracy theorists, look like crazy maniacs when we know we're not. Okay? So we just got to be careful what we believe. Just be careful what we believe. That's as simple as it is. Hey, Square Peg. I see Square Pegs in the chat. Looks like Square Peg's got a lot of stuff in the works. Very interested to see. You got a live scheduled for the day, Square Peg? Yeah, you're right, Joseph. The movie starts over New York, Obama's rising sun logo with the Statue of Liberty, and then there's deer, just like these people on Twitter pushing it. Yeah, and with the guy in the movie, with the guy wearing the kid wearing the Obey shirt, and then the girl wearing the NASA shirt. I mean, it's like they're saying obey NASA, which comes from the They Live movie, and I started looking more into this Obey clothing, and it originated. So the picture of the guy on the Obey clothing, the guy who did the Obey clothing was the guy who also did Obama's Hope poster, and this guy originally got inspired in 1989 by Andre the Giant Has a Posse. So this is Andre the Giant, the wrestler. It always comes back to wrestling, guys. I'm telling you, wrestling's way bigger connected than most people think. But literally, the picture on the Obey shirt is Andre the Giant's face. And Andre the Giant, well, let's decode him a minute. So he was the biggest wrestler in WWE history, I believe. Andre equals female. Interesting. Not saying that he was a female, maybe he was. But Andre the Giant equals 225, and his full name, if you take his full name, also equals 225, which could be pointing to 2025. But yeah, Andre the Giant, something to look into for all you decoders out there. I haven't really looked into him as much, but just one thing to mention here, guys, is he was French. And we know that the Templars have a huge connection to France and Paris. And we know that the Jesuits were founded in France. So this guy being the biggest wrestler of all time and being connected to France is a symbol of the Jesuits. And as a matter of fact, I think my next video, guys, give me a thumbs up in the chat, guys, if you guys want to have me do a live stream on where I'm staying right now with my girlfriend in Bavaria. I have found so much Jesuit stuff here in Bavaria. You guys will not believe it. Literally, the first Jesuit college, one of the oldest Jesuit colleges back in the old days, was founded right here where I'm at. The Illuminati was founded right here where I'm at. I can go to the Illuminati building. Also, there's a water brand here. You can go in the store. The water brand is called Jesuit Spring or Jesuit Water. Literally, Jesuit water. The other thing is there's so much stuff around here that's just Jesuit, all over the place. And I just can't believe that I didn't, when I first started discovering this stuff, I was, pushed on to the Jesuits, originally by Zach Hubbard and then Joseph Aquaviva also exposing them. And then when I came here, I had no idea I was walking into the Illuminati founding city. I literally live 10 minutes away from it, guys. And the Jesuits founded the Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt. And the day that they founded the Illuminati on 5/1, May 1st, 1776, they also celebrate a holiday here in this area on May 1st, where they do some sort of ritual with a totem pole or something. It's weird. And yeah, just so much Illuminati Jesuit stuff. I'm going to compile a bunch of pictures that I'm taking, and I'm going to present them to you guys on a live stream just to show you what I'm seeing. If I had internet here, I would go out and do a live video and show you guys. But unfortunately, I don't pay for internet. I just use the Wi-Fi. So I can't do a live video of the Jesuit building. But anyways, I see a lot of thumbs up. So my next live stream will probably be, unless something else comes up, my next live stream will be about the Jesuits and where I'm staying currently. So anyway, that was just a tangent on the Jesuits for a minute. Yeah, like you said, Illuminati founded in 76. Yeah, that's what Joseph's saying. Chandler Bing, Matthew Perry becomes okay. I'm not going to say that on the live, Morgan, but that's interesting that that's the anagram. Joni, is that what they do? I think, are you German, Joni? So it seems like you know what the ritual they do. So it seems like on May 1st, they walk around a pole holding a ribbon attached to the pole. Yeah. Uh, I'm pretty sure that's what you're saying there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because my girlfriend showed me this pole just standing up in the middle of somewhere, and she said it was connected to this ritual on May 1st. And I was like, really? I have to look more into that and study it more. Okay, yeah, Joni, I thought so. April 30th is Walpurgis Night, yeah, and that's the day that Hitler died. Hitler was definitely a Jesuit, guys. Well, first of all, Adolf Hitler equals the Jesuits. Adolf Hitler equals 56, like Society of Jesus, 56. And don't forget the 187. Both have the 187 as well. So yeah, next video will probably be about the Jesuits, guys. It's been a while since I've talked about them. As a matter of fact, you guys should all come here to Germany, and we can storm the Jesuit place. I'm just joking about that, but I mean, I'm definitely going to investigate more myself. Yeah, you're right, Joseph. Paris, France also equals 56, where the Jesuits were founded. Glitch Mine, yeah, CM Punk. CM Punk, he did come out with the shirt said hell froze over. I thought that was interesting too. And CM Punk is definitely a symbol for Barack Obama. I already showed you guys in prior videos how the wrestler CM Punk is a symbol of the Antichrist, Barack Obama. And just notice that he has the lightning bolt in his symbol. It says hell froze over. CM Punk is from Chicago. Barack Obama out of Chicago. So much more to talk about with these two connections, but I'm not going to bore you guys with all that in this video. It's too much. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that his new phrase is hell froze over with the lightning bolt. And remember, Barack means lightning. Germany, again with the man. Yeah, Germany has the man in it. And if you're from Germany, you're called German. Of course, in Germany, it's called Deutschland or Deutschland. But to us in the United States, we say Germany, like German. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Big Man East Side. Kevin Bacon's character in the movie Leave the World Behind is something I need to look more into. But yeah, definitely something about the Civil War and people not getting along because they're being selfish. Definitely something there. I'll look more into that maybe if I find something. Square peg. Ich bin ein Berliner. Yeah, LOL. For all those who don't know German, it means I am a Berliner. I mean, I don't know German that well either. I know the basics. Yeah, you're right. The pole that we were talking about earlier, like the tall poles, is connected to the phallus. Yeah. Flamingos. Yeah, there was flamingos in there. Yeah, because a Berliner is a donut, right? Square peg. Yeah, and Joseph, Kevin Bacon. So what Joseph's pointing out in the chat, guys, is that Kevin Bacon was driving the 4x4 truck, which is in reference to Obama, who was the 44th president. And it was near the garden section, the Garden of Eden, the serpent, right? Yeah, so this video was starting out about the white lion, but it's become about all kinds of other things. But yeah. Yeah, it was quite symbolic that Kevin Bacon was in the garden area, right? I mean, what a joke. I mean, we could probably decode this movie for the next 2 weeks and still find some amazing stuff. What does Kevin Bacon equal? Let's do it. Let's try it. Well, Kevin Bacon equals 96, and 42 equals 174 like New World Order, 42 like Jesuit. Yeah, and the Kevin Bacon thing, you're right, could be tied to the pig, right? The swine. Yeah, you're right. 174 is, so Kevin Bacon equals 174, like number of the beast equals 174, and New World Order 174. What's interesting about the 174 is that the movie was highly coded with the 192 number, right? And if you go to July 11th on the calendar, July 11th is the 192, like the movie was coded with 192. And in a leap year, that day leaves, well, sorry, in a leap year, I'm thinking about a leap year, guys, sorry. So next year on July 10th, the 192 and the 174 come together. So the New World Order, which is 174, number of the beast 174, and the movie Leave the World Behind equals 192. So watch out for July 10th next year. What's interesting about July 10th, guys, is this is the same numbers the day that the war started, the Hamas thing started. Because remember, the Hamas thing started on July 10th. And from July, or not July 10th, what am I thinking? October 7th. So October 7th, Israel was attacked. And between October 7th, which is 107, and July 7th, or July 10th, which is 107, is 277 days. Now that's the 59th prime number, which is tied to the dragon. Okay. So dragon equals 59. And as I just showed you, it lines up perfectly with. So I'm watching this day because this is the 192 day of the year, and this movie was all coded with the 192. So. Oh, okay, Joseph. Hold on a second. Joseph says Google 192 lasers nuclear fusion breakthrough. Let me look. Oh, I see. Yeah, I remember this now. It says in July, scientists at the National Ignition Facility at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California generated a burst of energy by bombarding a pellet of hydrogen with 192 lasers. Huh. Oh my gosh, this number, man. You know, I was decoding this number before it even became big with this movie and everything, and I saw how important it was, but it's becoming more important by the day. 192. 192 lasers. They were reproducing for a brief moment the process of fusion that powers the sun. The sun. So 192 lasers is what it took to power something that mimics the power of the sun. Think about that for a minute. I know I'm missing some comments here. I saw that Sean said something. The movie came out in the select theaters in 1122, which is exactly 911 months after the UN meeting to vote for Israel's statehood. Good one. So what Sean is saying there is he's saying that the movie came out on 1122, which is the anniversary of the JFK assassination. And it came out exactly 911 months after the UN meeting to vote for Israel's statehood. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Thanks, Sean. 192 lasers. Something about this number. Don't forget that the word abomination equals 192. When you use the play on words, Obama nation 192. Chester Bennington died. He's the singer of Linkin Park. That might be something to look into. And the Indianapolis Colts, my favorite football team growing up. So there's probably a lot of connections with the 192 as usual. Another one to look at is Great Tribulation. Wow, I forgot about that. I knew it equaled 192. Interesting, guys. Let's place this in the field. So Great Tribulation equals 192. And we're having this movie called Leave the World Behind. So Great Tribulation equals Leave the World Behind. 192. You guys see that? So there it is. There it is, I think. This is a big one. Great Tribulation, talked about in the Bible. The time that we're, if there is any time we're in, it's the Great Tribulation time. So leave the world behind equals Great Tribulation equals Obama. Let's bring up all the 192s. Obama. There was a deer on his movie, 192. Chandler Bing was the guy who was in the Friends who was all tied to this. And again, Obama was born. Again, guys, think about this. Obama was born on 192 date numerology. If you do 8 times 4 times 6 times 1, it's 192. The movie came out on 192 date numerology if you do it the long way. 1 times 2 times 8 times 2 times 2 times 3. So Obama born 192. The movie came out 192. His birthday this year, Obama's birthday this year, 8/4. 192. Do you guys see that? That's an impossible coincidence. Considering that the movie that Obama made equaled 192 and his name equals 192. It's just ridiculous. You cannot, I just can't believe this stuff. So I'm going to keep talking about this number a lot because it's obviously going to be important for this coming up. An eclipse equals 192. Big eclipse coming up next year. So Kelly is saying that in the Strong's Concordance, man of Merodach is Strong's 192. He was the son and successor of Nebuchadnezzar. 192 translates probably meaning soldier of Merodach, evil Merodach, a Babylonian king. Interesting. Definitely something to look in to about that right there, Joseph, if you see what Kelly's posting in the chat there. Something to look into about the evil Merodach. Yeah, I mean, in the chat, somebody said, "What's 192 days after the movie came out?" Let's look. Oh, so 192 days after the movie came out is going to be June 17th or June 16th if you add the day. What's interesting about June 16th is it's the other mark of the beast number, 616. So just keep an eye out for that day with the 192 ritual. Yeah, I talked about that in the stream before, uh, about how there was a power outage this year on February 19th. And if you write the date February 19th internationally, it's 192. There was a power outage in Oakland on that day. It's the 50th day of the year, right? And this was tied to Kamala and blackout equals 50, right? So blackout equals 50. There was a blackout on the 50th day of the year, and 50,000 people were affected. And the blackout occurred at 50th and Coliseum. So that's just crazy. And again, the date is 192, just like all the 192s. So next year, we'll just have to see, guys. It's going to get interesting, I think. Thanks, Joseph. Thanks for coming by. Thank you, Brenda. Also, I see you're saying excellent job. Thank you. Thank you all for coming and watching my videos. My channel is growing slowly thanks to Joseph, thanks to all of you. And I never thought that I would have this many subs and people actually wanting to watch my crazy codes. So thank you all for that. I'm going to start wrapping up the stream here, but yeah, if you guys want to support the work, the first thing you can do is hit the like button. And if you have some place to share, especially this video, lots of interesting information in this video. Also, if you guys would like to support the channel, there is a link at the top of this chat. Buy me a coffee if you guys would like to support the channel. It really helps me out while I'm traveling around here in Germany. And yeah, just anything you guys can do, just like. And I always enjoy your comments. Here's another thing I want to tell you all. I'm always trying to read every single one of your guys' comments, but as my channel is growing, it's hard for me to read them all and comment to them all like I want, but I try to. So if I miss you, it's not because I did it on purpose. I'm always trying to read your guys' comments. So I appreciate every single one of you that comment. Most of the time, I find things because of you. So you guys are very pivotal to my work, and I appreciate you. Yes, Kelly, July 11th is the 192th day of the year. Remember, July 11th is like 9/11. Remember, in the true calendar, September 11th is Sept or 7/11. So it's interesting that July 11th is the 192 day of the year, which is kind of like September 11th. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Square Peg. Square Peg and Joseph, I want to really do a collab with you live and bring you guys on a live stream soon. So hopefully we can do that. Because you guys know I enjoy talking with Square Peg and with Joseph. So, but either way, check out both of their channels. Square Peg Divergent, she's in the chat, and Joseph Aquaviva 2222. Go give them some love also. And thank you guys so much. Thank you, Marak Roughstock. You're listening to me while you're digging up a septic system. Very interesting, but glad you're that's dedication to my channel. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Captain Flatastic. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Square Peg. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Brenda. Much love. God bless. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Kelly. I think I got all of you. And for all those who are not actively in the chat, thank you all as well. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to hit the hay here. It's late. And as always, thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next video, and we'll decode whatever comes next. So until next time, much love. God bless you all. See you next time.